बोलिए श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की जय। लाडली लाल की जय। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। Respected Bhaiya ji has already joined, and everyone is welcome to the interactive session. And kindly keep all of you your video on, but mute yourself so that there is no interruption in the voice. Nikhilanand Bhaiya ji will explain the structure of the session, and he'll give the opportunity later on for asking questions as and when he feels it is right. And then you raise your hands through the app of the Zoom, not physical raising hands, but through the Zoom, and then you'll get the turn. And while you start with the questions, at that time, please unmute yourself. And my request is to use every second to extract best out of this session because it's highly qualitative. I got extremely very good comments from the last session. Everybody liked it. I mean, no, in the background, Ragha Bhaiya is managing the stage, and he'll give turn for asking questions by turn by turn. Thank you. Over to Nikhilanand Bhaiya ji. Bhaiya ji, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Radhe to everyone. Nice to see everyone again. So today's satsang will continue with this format that the highlight will be watching a 14-minute lecture by Shri Maharaj Ji. Before then, there are two philosophical points that he touches on in his lecture that we'll just expand upon a little bit before we watch his lecture. And during this time as well, if anyone has any questions, you can definitely raise your hand and we can discuss that. And then afterwards, after Maharajji's lecture, again, there are 2 points that I'll follow up on that Maharajji touches on in his lecture. So let me begin by saying this lecture that we're going to watch of Sri Maharajji's. It's a short lecture on the importance of the mind in Bhakti. So Sri Maharajji says that we all have to do Bhakti to Radha Krishna, but very few people know that Bhakti is done with the mind. So I thought it's a good spot to delve into this topic of the mind a little bit so that we clearly understand what Sri Maharajji means by the mind. He has explained this in more detail in quite a few of his other longer lectures. So let us draw on that and just understand in a little more depth what he means by the mind. So he says Bhakti must be done with the mind. And mind is actually a part of our subtle body. Shri Maharajji explains in other lectures that we have 3 bodies, teen sharir. So they have very specific names. One is Sthul Sharir, which means the physical body. Sthul is the opposite of Sukshma, the opposite of subtle. In English, the only word we have that I know of for the opposite of subtle is gross. So we say the gross body, the gross physical body. In Sanskrit, we say sthul. That's one body. Our physical body, we're very familiar with. Then we have a second body, that is the Sukshma Sharir, or the subtle body. And we have a third body, the Karan Sharir, or causal body. So what is the Sukshma Sharir? Just, in a very condensed way, we could say that's your mind, your subtle mind. And what is the Karan Sharir, the causal body? We can say that is your past karma, your sanskars, your attachments, all of that makes up your Karan Sharir. So there's also a relationship, interrelationship between the Karan Sharir, where all our sanskars are stored, and our Sukshma Sharir, the subtle mind. Now, Maharaji also explains that, many people think that probably when we're trying to understand who am I, that we would say, okay, I know that when someone dies, they leave their body and they go to another body. So it must be that the thing that leaves the body and goes to another body, that must be the real me. So Maharaji says, no, not exactly. It's more nuanced than that, because the real you is the Atma, but this Atma has three bodies. It's only leaving behind one of those bodies. The Sthul Sharir is left behind, but it takes the Sukshma Sharir and the Karan Sharir with it as it goes to the next body and gets a new Sthul Sharir, gets a new physical body. Now, specifically, what is this Sukshma Sharir? What is this subtle body? Maharaji goes into quite some detail on this as well. Most of this, the most recent time he covered this was during his Main Kaun, Mera Kaun lecture series. So he says there are 18 things that make up the subtle body. You have 5 subtle senses of perception. It's called Jnanendriya. So 5 senses through which we take in information from the world. These senses we're all very familiar with, the sense of sight, hearing, etc. Our 5 senses of perception. Then we have 5 karmendriya, 5 senses of action, and with these we put something out into the world, or we manipulate the world. Like one is our hands, one is our feet, not the physical feet or the physical hands, but you can say the ability to grasp, manipulate, hug, punch the hands, right? The ability for locomotion, the feet, the ability to communicate, the voice, and then the ability to reproduce and the ability to eliminate waste from the body. These are the 5 karmendriya, or senses of action. Then we also have pancha prana, the 5 life energies, that 5 different circuits or flows of prana, the life energy in the body. So now we're up to 15 things. Then in addition to that, we have man, buddhi, ahankar. So man is our emotional mind, where we get all the feelings and emotional reactions, love, hate, desires, attachments. That's man. And then we have buddhi, that is the intellectual mind. The intellectual mind understands concepts and makes decisions. So the buddhi's status is higher than the man. Man is more of a feeling, instinctual level, and buddhi is a higher level thinking, and where we make our decision to act on what man is feeling or not. And then we have the third thing, ahankar. Ahankar is, you can say, it's not necessarily arrogance or pride. We use it in that negative context sometimes, but really it's a sense of self. The deep feeling that I am, I exist. That's ahankar. These 3 are all, you can also just say this is our antahakaran, this is our mind. man, buddhi, ahankar. And then, so that's 3 plus 5 pran, plus 5 senses of perception, plus 5 senses of action, 18 subtle things that form our subtle body. And in addition to that, we have the Karan Sharir, where all of our past karma and sanskars are kept. So the Karan Sharir and Sukshma Sharir always stay with the soul as we travel from body to body. The only thing we change is our Sthul Sharir. So Shri Maharaj Ji is saying, out of all these things, you have your Sthul Sharir, you have your different Indriya, your different senses, senses of action, senses of perception. But out of all of that, the thing that must do bhakti is your mind. So he explains why in this lecture. I won't go into it here, but I just want to define, according to how Maharaji has explained in more detail, that exactly what is this mind that has to do bhakti. So before I cover the other point leading into Maharaji's lecture, does anyone have any questions about those technical details of what is the mind? Pardon me for 1 second. I'm going to turn my fan on here. It's a little hot in Texas today. Okay, so if there aren't any questions on that, then I'll briefly cover the other point, which is Maharaji mentions the mind is always active. It's always thinking something. And bhakti means we have to put the mind in God. And if we don't put it in God, it's definitely in the world. There's nowhere else for it to go, because there are only 3 tattva. There are only 3 things that exist. We are one, the souls. That's one thing. God is another. That's the second thing. And Maya, the cosmic energy Maya, that's the third thing. There is no fourth thing that exists. So since we are the ones with the mind, and the mind is thinking, our mind is either going to be in God or it's going to be in the world. And if it's in the world, that increases our bondage. And if it's in God, that purifies our mind and takes us towards God. So now that we've just understood these couple of basic points that Maharaji references in his lecture, let us listen to Shri Maharaji's lecture, and afterwards we can have some more discussion.
ये तो आप लोग जानते ही हैं कि राधा कृष्ण की भक्ति करनी है, किंतु भक्ति किसको करनी है ये है बहुत कम लोग जानते हैं। बड़े बड़े ज्ञानी ध्यानी कहलाने वाले हमारे देश में हैं, लेकिन वे यह नहीं जानते कि भक्ति किसको करनी है। 99.9% लोग जो भक्ति करते हैं वो इंद्रियों की भक्ति करते हैं, इंद्रियों से इंद्रियों के द्वारा, जैसे आंख एक इंद्रिय है, उसके द्वारा चारों धाम में जाएंगे, मूर्तियों के दर्शन करेंगे, संतों के दर्शन करेंगे। इसी प्रकार कान एक इंद्रिय है, इससे गीता भागवत रामायण वेद शास्त्र सुनेंगे। रसना एक इंद्रिय है, इससे पाठ करेंगे, कीर्तन करेंगे। किंतु ये सब भक्ति नहीं है। वेद कहता है मन एव मनुष्याणाम कारणम बंध मोक्षयो, ब्रह्म बिंदु उपनिषद का दूसरा मंत्र। और यह मंत्र साठ्यायनी उपनिषद में भी है, साठ्यायनी उपनिषद का पहला मंत्र, मन एव मनुष्याणाम कारणम बंध मोक्षयो। और ये श्लोक नारद पुराण में भी है, मन एव मनुष्याणाम कारणम बंध मोक्षयो। और ये श्लोक पंचदशी में भी है, मन एव मनुष्याणाम कारणम बंध मोक्षयो। अर्थात बंधन और मोक्ष अथवा किसी भी कर्म का कर्ता मन होता है, इंद्रियां नहीं। मन ही कर्म का करता है। वशिष्ठ ने राम को उपदेश दिया, मनसैव कृतम राम, मन से किया हुआ कर्म ही कर्म कहलाता है। साठ्यायनी उपनिषद का तीसरा मंत्र है, चित्तमेव हि संसारा। चित्त ही संसार है और संसार कुछ नहीं है, ये अपना चित्त। भागवत भी कहती है, चेतः खल्वस्य बंधाय मुक्तये चात्मनो मतम। तीसरे स्कंद के 25वें अध्याय का 15वां श्लोक। मैत्रेयी उपनिषद भी कहता है, चित्त में वह संसारा, पहले अध्याय का 5वां मंत्र। तेजो बिंदु उपनिषद भी कहता है, मन वह संसारा, 5वें अध्याय का 98वां मंत्र। और भागवत भी कहती है, मन परम कारण मामनंती, 11वें स्कंद के 23वें अध्याय का 43वां श्लोक। ये सब शास्त्र वेद कह रहे हैं कि प्रत्येक कर्म का कर्ता मन माना जाता है। मन, इंद्रियों का कर्म भगवान नोट ही नहीं करते। आप एक बार भगवान का नाम मत लीजिए, भगवत प्राप्ति हो जाएगी, बशर्ते कि मन का अटैचमेंट भगवान में हो जाए। अटैचमेंट, प्यार, लगाव। दो प्रकार की भक्ति गौरांग महाप्रभु ने बताई है, सासंग भक्ति, अनासंग भक्ति। सासंग भक्ति माने मन से रूप ध्यान करते हुए जो भक्ति की जाए वो सासंग भक्ति है। और अगर मन भगवान में नहीं लगाया तो कहाँ रहेगा? संसार में तीसरी कोई जगह नहीं है। और यह भी नहीं हो सकता कि न भगवान में लगा है न संसार में लगा है। पेंडिंग में नहीं रह सकता मन। नहीं कश्चित क्षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत। गीता 3 अध्याय का 5वां श्लोक। भागवत में भी है ये 6वें स्कंद के पहले अध्याय का 53वां श्लोक। अर्थात कोई भी व्यक्ति एक क्षण को अकर्मा नहीं रह सकता। सदा मन कर्म करता रहेगा। रजाई ओढ़ के लेट जाओ, सोच रहा है मन। ये ऐसी मशीन भगवान ने दी है जो कभी रुकती नहीं, सदा। और इतनी तेज स्पीड में भागता है मन कि अर्जुन शरीर का धनुर्धर भी कहता है चंचलम हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवद दृढ़म। हे प्रभो, मन बड़ा चंचल है। बड़े बड़े योगींद्र मुनींद्र जो करोड़ों वर्ष हवा पी करके रहे हैं, वे भी मन से हार गए। इतना बलवान है मन। तो इस मन को अगर भगवान में न लगाया तो संसार में जाएगा। अभ्यास है, क्योंकि चुप तो रह ही नहीं सकता हो। आप उसको पकड़ के बांध नहीं सकते। और संसार और भगवान के अलावा तीसरा कोई एरिया नहीं जहां मन जाए। इसलिए भक्ति मन को ही करनी है, ये बात मस्तिष्क में बिठाना है। बिल्कुल बैठी रहे हर समय। बैठती नहीं। आप लोग कीर्तन करने बैठते हैं, भूल जाते हैं, रूप ध्यान नहीं करते भगवान का। ठीक है, नथिंग से समथिंग अच्छा है, भगवान का नाम ले रहे हैं, बुरा नहीं है। लेकिन जब ले ही रहे हैं तो ढंग से ले, उसका लाभ मिले। क्योंकि गौरांग महाप्रभु कहते हैं कि अनासंग भक्ति करने से, यानी इंद्रियों के द्वारा भक्ति करने से, बहुजन्म करे यदि श्रवण कीर्तन, तभु ना पाए कृष्ण पदे प्रेम धन। चाहे हजारों जन्म तुम राम राम श्याम श्याम करते रहो, जहां मन का अटैचमेंट होगा, मरने के बाद उसी की प्राप्ति होगी। जड़ भरत शरीर के परमहंस का मन का अटैचमेंट एक हिरन के बच्चे में हो गया। एक हिरनी पानी पी रही थी, पीछे से शेर ने दहाड़ मारा, डर के मारे कूद गई नदी में। उसके पेट में बच्चा था, गिर गया। वहीं पर नहा रहे थे जड़ भरत। संसारी आदमी नहीं थे जड़ भरत, आत्मज्ञानी थे। उन्होंने कहा ये मर जाएगा, इसको उठा लो, पाल लो। मां तो भाग गई डर के मारे, प्राण तो सबको प्यारा है। उन्होंने पाल लिया। अब वो हर समय उसको साथ लिए घूमते थे। मरते समय भी उसको उन्होंने चिपटा लिया और शिष्यों को बुलाया और कहा देखो भाई, ये मेरी खास चीज है, इसको संभाल के रखना, खिलाना पिलाना। और मर गए। तो मरने के बाद हिरण बनना पड़ा जड़ भरत को, क्योंकि मन का अटैचमेंट हिरण में था। तो जहां मन का अटैचमेंट होगा, बस मरने के बाद उसी की प्राप्ति होगी। अगर भगवान को पाना है, गोलोक जाना है, दिव्य आनंद प्राप्त करना है, मुक्ति प्राप्त करना है, तो भगवान को लाओ मन में। ये मन एक गंदा कपड़ा है। इस कपड़े को अगर शुद्ध वस्तु से धोओगे तो गंदगी दूर होगी, अगर गंदे जल से धोओगे तो और गंदा होगा। तो संसार गंदा है, माया का है। अगर इसको मन में लाओगे, यानी प्यार करोगे, तो मन और गंदा होगा। और अगर भगवान और महापुरुष को लाओगे तो वे शुद्ध है, इसलिए मन शुद्ध होगा। बड़ी सीधी सी फिलॉसफी है। भगवान ने अर्जुन से कहा देखो, यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितरीन् यान्ति पतिव्रता भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्या यान्ति यज्जाजिनोऽपि माम्। अर्जुन, देवताओं की भक्ति करेगा तो देवता के लोक में, स्वर्ग में जाएगा। यानी जिसकी भक्ति करेगा बस उसी को प्राप्त हो जाएगा।
Radhe Radhe, welcome back to everyone. I have one quiz question for you. Can anybody remember, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ji, he had a technical name for when we do bhakti with the association of the mind, and also when we do bhakti without the association of the mind. So I think Dr. Chitra had her hand up first. Can you share what you remember? Dr. Chitra ji, you can unmute yourself and give us
Radhe
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe. Satsang and Anasang.
Yes. So which is which?
So Satsang's the one that's done with the mind, and Anasang is the devoid of mind.
Okay, good. Very good. Now, Maharaji tells us in this that if we attach our mind to God and Guru, we're going to purify our mind. And if we keep our mind attached in the world, it becomes more impure. So I just wanted to list a few things, because I think you all have some idea of this. And if you don't, then you'll hear the answers here. Let us list a few things. What are the signs that our mind is starting to purify? If we're actually attaching our mind to God and Guru, what types of benefit or what type of internal changes will we observe in ourselves?
सबसे पहले तो ये बताओ कि मन किसको कहते हैं। मन किसको कहते हैं? 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 मन किसको कहते हैं
Okay, Dr. Chitraji knows one answer. Does any, we'll give her one. You can tell us one thing, Chitraji, and then hopefully other people get some ideas too. Go ahead, please.
So we get the divine qualities in us, the qualities that Hari Guru like, and one of the special ones is being humble.
Very good. Yeah, Daivi Gunas. And like you said, that's like godly qualities. Since we're bringing God into our mind, so God's qualities come in our mind, and we start to take on or manifest all the best qualities, all the good qualities. Sheilaji?
Vinamrata, humility is
Yes,
one
very,
of the qualities, please.
very good. Humbleness, softness, politeness. Rajashri and Mayank, I see, have their hand up.
The quality of being tolerant.
Very good. Sahanshilata. This is a godly quality that develops more and more as our mind purifies. So we can actually measure our progress by how much these qualities are developing in our own selves. Surinder Bhaiya? सुरेंद्र भैया आपने हाथ उठाया था.
Sorry, Bhaiya. So I didn't unmute myself. Rag Dvesh reduces with the other people, and we don't want to hear to the negative about others. Jad or Chetan, so we normally become more reserved.
Very good. Very good. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you.
So we can say that the good qualities like respecting others, seeing the good in others, having positive energy, being forgiving, forbearing, humble, polite, conscientious, all these good qualities increase, and the negative qualities decrease, like having enmity towards others, feeling anger. These things actually from inside, not just that we're controlling our emotions from the outside, but the reaction itself from inside happens less or happens with less intensity. And we can actually observe this in our own feelings. And then we know, okay, this means at least some percentage my heart has started to purify. And that's why I'm seeing this inner transformation. Now, there's one other thing that increases. That's on the devotional side. With devotional feelings, this gradually starts to increase, like a desire to meet Radha Krishna. In the beginning, it might have been more theoretical. Like we feel, oh, yeah, I understand in theory that it's possible to meet God. But now the more our heart purifies, we start to feel the real, like an urgency or an excitement that starts building in the heart. Oh, I could really meet Radha Krishna in this life. That desire starts to intensify. Anything else anyone can think of that's a sign of heart purification? Yes, Rajashri and Mayank?
I think tears of joy or tears of longing to
Very good.
God, to experience, I mean, how it feels like. Yeah.
Good. Very good. So we can say the symptoms of bhav bhakti, the ashtasattvic bhav, can start to be felt in a devotee's heart. Like we feel so much longing for Krishna that we get some tears. We feel so much joy in doing Rup Dhyan of Shri Krishna, because it's not just that we feel we're doing Rup Dhyan, we feel we're really seeing him. Then we get some tears, so tears of meeting or tears of longing. some kind of thrill in the heart, even trembling of the body. There are some different sattvic bhav, and these are symptoms of what we call bhav bhakti. When we practice devotion with the mind, eventually with Guru's grace, we start to experience these. It becomes like an underlying love for God and Guru that stays in the mind all the time and gives us more joyous or thrilling experiences when we're doing Rup Dhyan and practicing our sadhana. Any questions about that?
Radhe Radhe, Bhaiya. So
Radhe Radhe.
I do have a question. I mean, as you know, how you mentioned, the mind is gentle. So how and we do know that what awaits at the end of all of this, if we are, sustaining our practice, sustaining our sadhana, is Divyanand. How I mean, yeah, we do try, little practical ways to ensure that, we are thinking of that. But then is there some example or something likely or likeness that we can talk about that resembles Divyanand for our mind, So we can say, yeah, this is how it's going to be. Like this is the epitome of what it's going to be. So how do we, make our mind see that as an example and run towards it,
I don't think there's anything in the world that is similar to the Divyanand, but Maharaji does explain it mathematically. He says, starting here in this world, actually it's in the Vedas themselves. Taittiriya Upanishad has a mathematical description that if you have one person on this earth who is the emperor of the entire earth, and everybody's favorable towards him or her. It's not like it's an enforced, rulership. No, everybody loves having them as the ruler. And they're young, they're healthy, they're strong, they're generous, they're intelligent, they're good looking, they have a beautiful family. So they have everything in this world. That's considered one unit of worldly happiness. Mayic happiness, 1 unit. If you multiply that by 1,000 times, you have 1 unit of happiness of Manava Gandharva Lok. So there's 10 divisions, 10 levels of Swarg. It's also part of Maya. But imagine in Manava Gandharva Lok, the lowest classification of Swarg, it's 1,000 times more than if you had that 1 unit of worldly happiness, which itself seems impossible for one person to get. And then you multiply that by 1,000. Then if you go from Manava Gandharva Lok to Deva Gandharva Lok, again you multiply by 1,000. Then the next one, Pitri Lok, again you multiply by 1,000. From Pitri Lok to Ajanaj Deva Lok, again multiply by 1,000. Then the next one, Karma Deva Lok, multiply by 1,000. Then Nitya Deva Lok, multiply by 1,000. Then Indra Lok, multiply by 1,000. So Indra's abode is the 7th one out of 10. And you've already added 21 zeros, right? 3 multiplying by 1,000, you've moved the decimal 21 places just to get to Indra's lok. Then above his lok is Brihaspati lok, Prajapati lok, and Brahma's abode, Satya lok. So now we've moved it by 30 decimal places. 9 decimals is 1 billion. So it's 1,000 billion times the happiness of being the emperor of the whole world and everybody loves you. And that's all Mayic happiness, is not even real happiness. Then if you multiply that by infinity, you have the happiness of Brahmanand, what Gyanis get in Nirakar, formless God. Multiply that by infinite times and you have the happiness of Aishwaryanand, what you would get if you go to Vaikuntha abode and have the divine darshan of Mahavishnu. And multiply that by infinite times and you have the bliss of Premanand, of Radha Krishna. How can we even imagine? We can't imagine one drop of what that's like. And on top of that, it's ever increasing. Every second, it's ever new, ever fascinating, never gets boring, never reduces, is perfect and stable. So it's, you can say it's opposite of the happiness we experience over here.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Radhe Radhe.
Sure. Radhe Radhe. Sheila ji, you have a question?
Yes, Bhaiya. The question I have, I've never met Maharaj Ji. So when you talked about longing for Radha Krishna, could it also be the longing for Guru, because Hari Guru are one and the same?
Even better. Yeah, I would say, although, the general guidelines are do bhakti to both Radha Krishna and Guru side by side. But I would say bhakti to Guru gives a little extra boost, even as compared to bhakti to Radha Krishna. Now we want to do both, of course, but having that type of longing, that type of love for Guru is the best possible thing.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Okay, so in this, and if anyone else has a question come up, just raise your hand and we'll definitely address it. One more point that I wanted to bring up is that Maharaji mentions about, of course, doing bhakti with the mind, and he just, this wasn't he wasn't taking a lot of time to go into detail. He mentioned that in order to do bhakti with the mind, you have to do Rup Dhyan. You have to meditate on the form of Radha Krishna and Guru. And there's a reason for that. We are very visual beings in general. We tend to rely on our eyes. So if we start with the visual aspect, it brings our mind into remembering Radha Krishna and Guru. So the point is, we should be thinking of them, right? If we're thinking of them with positive feelings, then our mind is in them, or you can say they are in our mind. Either way, there's that connection and our mind purifies. But how to, when the mind is so active and jumping around here and there, we need some process to just, tie the mind to Radha Krishna. And that process is Rup Dhyan. That, okay, mind, I'm giving you something to do. You have to imagine the form of Radha Krishna. Think of them, like, look at their eyes, they're smiling at you. You can get very detailed, like look at, Radharani has naturally black eyes, even without wearing any kajal or eyeliner, just naturally from the eyelashes. She has a beautiful black outline around her eyes, and her eyes are shaped like, very long out towards the ears, beautifully shaped eyes, and perfectly bowed eyebrows. And her hair is very shiny, black, slightly curly, like tresses, braided, plaited beautifully with small flowers pleated in those braids. So you can go into so much physical detail of what Radha looks like, what Krishna looks like, how is his peacock feather flashing, iridescent, how it moves with a little bit of breeze. So much detail. We can go for hours doing this kind of Rup Dhyan. So this process is so effective at just getting the mind to keep thinking about Radha Krishna. But we can, Rup Dhyan doesn't mean that we only have to use, the visual aspect. We can also smell the divine fragrance of Radha Krishna's hair, their natural perfume of their body, the subtle perfume that gopis have applied on Radharani. You can use your ears, you can hear the sound of their jingling anklets or bangles, the sound of their voice, the sound of Krishna's flute. You can feel their touch, or imagine you're softly touching their feet, or they put their hand on you or gave you a hug. You can use your sense of touch, taste, smell, hearing, not only seeing. But we call it Roop Dhyan because, you know, the mind is a very visual centered for most people. So we start with the visual aspect, but we also bring other senses into it. Or even if someone is having trouble visualizing, they can start with one of the other senses. That's totally fine. The main thing is to feel, sense the presence of Radha Krishna and Guru, and have the other aspect of it is to have the faith that this is real Radha Krishna, this is really Maharaji here. I'm not just imagining, they truly are here. That Bhagavad Bhavana is what really makes the Roop Dhyan effective. And of course, the magic ingredient, the catalyst in all of this is Guru's grace. Because if someone just tries to do this process of Roop Dhyan, thinking that, okay, I learned this, let me try it, but they have no connection in their heart or mind to the Guru, then simply doing the process of Roop Dhyan is not enough. We have to, yes, practice Roop Dhyan, but with the feeling that Shri Maharaji has taught me this. He's imbued his grace in this process. So by following this process, I'm engaging in devotion according to my Guru's instructions. That connection to the Guru has to be there. Only then the mind will actually be purified and will develop this bhav by practicing Roop Dhyan. Yes, Sohini and Raj.
Radhe Radhe Bhaiya.
Radhe Radhe.
I just wanted some clarity.
Sure.
You know, when you're not sitting down for your devotion, but you're carrying on with your daily life, whilst doing your chores, if just Maharaji's, you know, Hare Ram, or, you know, one of his pads or kirtans, if it's just playing in the mind all the time, you're not listening to it physically, is that counted as not Roop Dhyan, but devotion? Is that devotion thing?
Absolutely. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can't do Roop Dhyan 24 hours a day, but we can do Smaran 24 hours a day. There's a difference. Like Smaran means some kind of remembering of Radha Krishna and Guru. And then Roop Dhyan is like the specific process when we're really focusing our mind on that visualization, which when we're involved in worldly activities, we can't do that, right? But we can still sense the presence of God and Guru with us as we're doing those worldly activities. So having that chanting going in your mind is one way of maintaining that connection to them, even though we're not doing detailed Roop Dhyan, but we sense their presence as we're involved in our activities.
Right. Thank you, Bhaiya.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Sheila ji.
Radhe Bhaiya, what I was asking is, in doing Roop Dhyan, Maharaji always says ki chalit Roop Dhyan karo. Like Radha Krishna are walking towards you, various things. But what I find is that when I have watched hundreds of videos of Maharaji for many years now, and Maharaji is sitting on his asan or on the bed and various things like that. So I I tend to imagine that he's sitting on a beautiful chair, very beautifully decorated, and he's talking to the satsangis. He's got his little flannel with him and he's wiping his brow, stuff like that. Now, does that count as chalit or not?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so that bringing it to life is also very important. Not
Okay.
like a static thing where like as if you're visualizing a murti, right?
Okay.
So you can see their eyes blink and they're looking at you, or they're moving, talking, and same thing with Maharaji. Like you're really meeting him like that.
Okay.
That's good. Very important.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you, Radhe.
Bijay, Radhe Radhe. Bijay ji,
Radha Radha Bhaiya.
Radhe
So,
Radhe.
so Maharaji normally he talks about Madhurya Bhav Bhakti. So just wanted to know like what kind of thoughts that we have to bring, because I mean, although our soul is feminine as per Maharaji, he has explained, but it's sometimes very difficult to think yourself as gopi and create those kind of sentiments and practice the devotion. So any kind of thoughts that we need to bring every time, and some kind of process or some sequence that we have to think to practice this kind of madhurya of our devotion.
Yeah, I would just say that Maharaji has said we all have those sanskars from past lifetimes, because we all have been women in the past many times, and we've all been men many times. So we can draw on those past sanskars. They're there deep in our mind. And I would just say we have to try. If let's say we're listening to a kirtan or singing a kirtan by Sri Maharaji, and it's in Gopi Bhav, or explaining a gopi's feelings for Krishna, then we just have to try, like make the effort. Okay, let me put myself in the position of this gopi and imagine Shri Krishna as my beloved. Let me try to, just like I have romantic feelings in the world, let me see if I can have that romantic feeling for Shri Krishna. Now, when we make this comparison, of course, it's a little can be confusing to people, because we think of worldly romance as being based in desire, right? But in our love for Shri Krishna, we desire for his happiness. That's an important distinction. But we love him as our beloved. And I would just say, with Maharaji's grace, he will like give us that jhalak of, okay, oh, I got a little feeling of what that's like. Okay, now I kind of understand. And then on that basis, we can practice a little more, like try to feel that more. It's only Maharaji's grace that lets us experience what is the Madhurya Bhav. And for that, we just have to try. We just have to, it's like a little leap of faith from our side. We take the first step and try to feel as a gopi would feel. Maharaji does the rest.
Thank you so much, Radha Radha.
Sure. Radhe Radhe. Now, with the couple minutes we had left, I also just want to, I think last time we didn't get a chance to just let you know that I'm based out of Radha Madhav Dham, which is in Austin, Texas, here in America. So this is one of Maharaji's ashrams. He came and stayed here in 2005 for a couple of months, and again in 2007 for a couple of months when he did his 2 world tours. So, I feel very lucky that I was able to be here when Maharaji was visiting, and that I still get to be based out of here when I'm in the US. And it's an open invitation for all of you. Anyone, if you're ever in America or coming to America, you definitely should make a pilgrimage over here and, see these holy places where Maharaji walked around, the beautiful grounds of Radha Madhav Dham, Maharaji's room here at Radha Madhav Dham. Of course, it used to be called Barsana Dham, but when Maharaji came the first time, he said we should change the name to Radha Madhav Dham, because he was saying that Barsana Dham is more of a private name. Not many people in the public will know what Barsana is. So call it Radha Madhav Dham for the public. So that happened. That change happened in 2005 when Maharaji came. So you're all, very much invited to come and stay. We have accommodations for 300-400 people over here. And we have sadhana shivers at many times in the year. But of course, you're already halfway to our ashrams in India. So, going to India would be the best priority, to go and visit Shri Kripalu Dham, Guru Dham, or any of our ashrams in India where Maharaji stayed for his whole time here on earth. But in case you're ever in America, definitely you should make an effort and come and visit us here in Radha Madhav Dham as well. So thank you, Surinder Bhaiya, and we'll be in touch and looking forward to the next satsang.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you very much for your time. And there have been very qualitative guidance from yourselves, and there are very good questions from individuals, which is useful for everybody else also. We will see you in next after 4 weeks.
Yes,
The next
very
session.
much. Definitely.
Next
Radhe,
session.
Radhe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the recording will be available very soon for tomorrow for the session. Thank you.